This is a podcast on the briefing and connection issues around the collaboration between Beiruti artists and the artists in England. At the foreground of my mind when we started this collaboration was the inevitable aesthetic differences, the cultural assumptions of artists from Beirut and artists from Manchester, the set of tropes, tics, the visual languages that may have evolved differently, and how these might integrate and connect and evolve within the project. Was there a Beirut way of doing things, a Beirut visual aesthetic, a Lebanese visual aesthetic, and how do we ensure that that aesthetic is allowed to breathe, is not smothered by any implicit or explicit assertions or assumptions of the collaborators in Manchester or in England? That was my main thought going into this phase. So much for theory. The last 2 months has seen a completely different set of concerns, and they are on the pragmatic rather than the aesthetic level. Beirut was rocked by the explosion in the port, and that caused damage to the infrastructure. And the questions that were thrown up were much more basic. Is the electricity where the visual artists are residing, is it on? Can they access the internet? At what cost? And there was the related consideration that the lira, the Lebanese currency, was being devalued, and what effect would that have on daily life as well as on the project? And at this point, we had the invaluable assistance of Dr. Tariq Mehmood Ali in giving some insight on these matters, and we were able to plot a course through many of these problems or issues, thanks to him and his colleagues at the American University of Beirut. So there you go. I started out with very highfalutin aesthetic considerations, and they will come back, and they are important. But on the day-to-day level, the pragmatics was what I found myself occupy my mind with much more. So that's podcast 1, issues arising from the visual arts collaboration with some of the generators of narratives in the UK.